o'clock Monte Carlo time, and they will play one match in the finals. It used to be two matches that the second chance winner would have to win twice. They've now stopped that, and what they do is they just simply give more money to the one who went undefeated as a compensation for not getting beaten until the finals if he gets beat in the finals. But there's a lot of money, a lot of pride involved. If you saw my interview with Victor the other day, he said, "I could care. He don't talk about the money. I don't care about the money. I don't care. I want to win. I want to be the world champion." And he certainly is one of the best players in the world that hasn't won it yet. Yep. I had a list of four. I had him and Wilcox and Michi and Zedek as my four really top players that haven't made it to a world champion. Frank Frigo, of course, who's the undefeated player right now, won the world championship in 1994. It's a great story. He was on his honeymoon in France, and he just at the last minute decided to go to Monte Carlo, and he wins the tournament. It's really something.
Yeah. And Frank, as recently as a couple months ago, wasn't even sure he was going to come this year, so I know he's glad he made that decision.
Not a bad decision.
So we're off and running, and Victor opens with a 6-5.
So Chris is on top playing the white checkers. Victor on the bottom. It's an 11-point match. They'll all be 11-point matches until the finals, which I think is going to be like a 23-point match or 21. I'm not sure. It's going to be a hell of a match. Yeah. Very standard plays here. I might have come down with two instead of splitting, but no, you're supposed to come up. You're supposed to come up
Victor
to cover the outfield.
6-5.
Yeah.
And in this situation, Chris, I think for the almost every roll, it will not be correct for him to touch the back checkers. He just wants to build up his board. He's rolled one of his very best numbers to do that, make the 2 points. And if Victor rolls something awkward that leads a direct shot here, Chris is in excellent shape.
Victor, as you know, has a habit of shaking the dice and using up most of his
and Victor comes
delay.
back with a huge shot. He'll make the 2 points.
Yeah.
And now he's got the big edge.
They both had double threes, but no question whose was better.
Yeah.
I start thinking about cube action, but it's a little soon.
This is too soon. Victor's structure is still too stacked with the 7 guys on the midpoint.
He certainly would like to hit with a 4, 2, or 9.
Yeah.
I would think. He might just play a priming game because he's winning the race. And with a 3-2, he'd probably make the outside point.
Yeah. So 5-4, down, and then
yeah.
he's got to decide. So let's see. He
He's
leaves
up
the blot outside. That's 15 hitters. If he hits, that's also 15. But he does unstack the midpoint and leaves himself a decent structure here. And it's probably closing in on a cube. If
but it was a good play. But he's up in the race by quite a bit now, 18 pips. And if Chris doesn't roll a 3 or a 5, we might see some cube action.
Correct.
There's that 5. Very good roll. I don't think the 1 is that critical. It's right to come up from the back by a tiny bit. Not sure why.
Yeah, you normally prefer an isolated blot against a standard structure with the 8-point you made. You normally prefer an isolated blot on the 24 than the 23. The only reason I can think of here that might change is, well, 2 reasons. One, the 8-point is stripped, and by duping the 4s to enter and the 4s to hit, you cut down on Victor's return shots a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just a second ago, we were talking about Victor thinking about cubing and being ahead. Now, clearly, Chris is threatening in this game. Not enough for cube action, but enough to be happier than where he was after that double 3.
Correct.
You see the double 3 by Victor, you get a little depressed, now you get excited again. Of course, if you're a great player, you don't get emotional. You don't get depressed, you just think about the plays.
Victor fans again. And now Chris is up 7 with a stronger structure because he's got 1 more checker in the zone. This is not quite a double yet, but he's closing in on it if the next exchange is favorable. And we see it's only a small no double at this point.
What did we miss? Victor has a 13 PR. What was the blunder? He must have...
I guess he should have hit with the 5-4.
No, that wasn't it. It looked like the right play. I could be wrong, but there somewhere by the way, that PR is very misleading when you're in the first game real early. I mean, I'll bet the over/under on Victor playing under 4 by give big odds.
All right, Chris has a small double here. He's got the checker back, and he's got an early 13-pip lead in the race. And he finds the small double. Nice play by Chris.
And it's a big take, and Victor grabs it. You should bet on Victor doing the right thing almost all the time. You lose money betting against that. Not a great roll here. Very few rolls leave shots, and this is one of them. You leave the ace shot or the 7 shot. It's right to leave the 7 shot because if you don't get hit, you have a much better game.
Yeah.
Hitting is not the right idea here. Even going to the 2 points, okay. But the problem with hitting is not enough covers. If you don't get hit back, you're down on the ace point where you don't want to be. If you get missed there, this is fine. This play is very reasonable. Victor's hoping for that 1. Nope, double 2s. Not a bad miss, but all the misses are bad right here. He needs 3s and 8s and 11s to cover.
Or a 4-1 to make the point.
Yep.
Oh,
The 6.
he cannot cover safely. If he covers at the 6, he has no ace, so he'll just make the bar.
Yep. Better structure.
I wouldn't imagine any play is close to making the bar here.
You're right.
Yeah.
According to XG. We've got the XG feed. For those of you who don't know, that's Extreme Gammon. It's the best computer program. If you are serious about playing backgammon, you ought to get Extreme Gammon.
I imagine he'll bring the 2 in and slot the deuce point.
Yeah, here's my opponent say, "Oh, you're so lucky to roll double 6s when all I wanted was a 1."
Victor would have liked to have covered with a 6 or a 3, but or rather Chris, with
Yeah.
Victor's board, he can't take a chance, so he's just got to play 7-5, 7-2 here.
Yeah, Victor's board is improved enough where you don't want to leave a shot. This is not the right idea. It's not
So
horrible.
Only a small error, but it's
It's an error.
small. Yeah.
Victor's wondering if there's a 1 on his dice. He's had 3 shots at it. Stepping up makes sense, especially with the blot there. And it clearly is correct. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck forever. And because he has a good board, Chris can't just hit loose comfortably. He might have some pick and passes that make the point. And that's not one of them. Very, very poor roll for Chris.
Yeah, so Chris I think he should play 7-5, 7-2 here because he needs to cover that deuce point so he can attack the blot next time if it escapes or hit it at his outer board if Victor runs. There's no reason to play 2 down because he's not winning the race.
But the shocking thing is that hitting is not a big error. It's a possibility to cover and hit.
Yeah.
Even with Victor's great board, at some scores it would be very right if you really desperately need the game and if gammons don't matter. But hitting is not that bad here.
But he's not desperate because the race is close. He's basically up 1 pip after this, so the race is. If this was a straight race, he'd be about 48%, but he's still got some contact possibilities, which is why he's 55%.
But the difference is .011. I'm shocked.
I am too. I think very few people would hit here because you are exposing 2 blots, and if Victor has a strong sequence, there are many scenarios where if he hits the first blot, he hits the second blot and closes him out and wins a gammon. So I'm very surprised it's close, and I would play 7-5, 7-2 quickly.
Against Victor, I hit. I want to gamble. That's my best shot. I don't want to have a long match or game. He's hitting. I love it. I love it.
Gammons. Let's see if he does it. Well, he wins 11% gammons himself.
Yep, I love it. That's a big gambling play. I love it. You talk to Chris Rogers and you look at him, he doesn't look like a gambler, but you have to gamble when you're playing backgammon. Yeah. It's all about risk and reward. This is huge right here. Huge roll. Yeah. Victor fails again. He's failed on every hit.
I also think Chris played very well yesterday, but if there's a little bit of a critique of his play yesterday, he was a little bit passive. So from the sense of sending Victor a message early in the match that I'm here to wrestle with you today, it's a nice play.
Yeah.
And even though it may quote unquote be a little bit wrong by XG, there was a message sent to Victor on that play, and Victor will have gotten it.
Again, I would gamble. When you're playing Victor Ashkenazi, I think gambling's should be part of your strategy. Victor has missed 5 shots. He's wondering what the dice gods have against him this morning, this afternoon. Wow.
Finally, Chris makes that point.
I think, what were there, like 7 out of the last 8 rolls, Victor had a shot to win and missed every one?
Yeah.
Not necessarily to win, but probably.
So, Chris here, for those of you unfamiliar with this, the technique now is hit loose on the ace point. Hope Victor comes in with an awkward ace that exposes another blot, like 1-4 or 1-5. And then if Chris can hit that second blot, he then has around 40% chances of.
Beginners are afraid to hit loose here. My God, he's got a closed board. What if I get hit back? Well, that's the best thing that can happen to you.
Exactly.
Now, there are some awkward rolls here if... Oh, okay. As you can see, he hit him, and what's going to happen to Chris here? You're just going to watch Victor crash his board and even leave a blot.
This is what Chris was hoping for. Now, if he hits a 6 and he closes out both checkers, he'll win a gammon about 40% of the time. The situation repeats where he gets another blot.
Victor is just wondering what's going on with the dice gods. Couldn't even clear.
Another very bad roll for Victor.
Oh my God!
There were only 4 numbers that didn't pick up that blot, and he found one of them. So Chris will now hit it with the ace on the ace.
The good news, bad news, he didn't get hit. Victor's happy not to roll an ace. He does not want to come in. You don't close the board. You want to get that second checker. This is very simple. You just play in the outfield.
So the technique here for those...
Wait a minute. It says 7-1.
The technique here for those of you who are the intermediate class, when you're working this type of position that Chris is here, it's very important. People know to look for double 6s. But what sometimes fouls them up is you don't pay enough attention to double 4s, double 5s, that are awkward, that require you to stack your checkers on the deuce and 3-point, giving your opponent a chance to roll a lucky ace and then escape. And perhaps here the reason that the 7-1 was better on the next play was that Chris did have the possibility of an awkward double 5 on this roll.
Both those last rolls, it was right to make the point by a little bit because you have some really awkward rolls and you don't. This is not one of the awkward rolls. This is fine. Nothing leaves a shot on the next roll. He brings him in. He'd rather not bring him in low, but he's okay. He got away with it.
This is a great shot that cleans it up the structure for Chris.
There's very few gammons here, so all you care about is not leaving a shot, and you're going to win.
Yep.
And you're not going to get a gammon. You just assume it's not going to happen. It's like 2%, 3% in that range. All right, this is nice and clean. I would not peel because, again, you're not going to win gammons. And if you peel, you would left a hole where you could leave a shot with 5-1, 6-1, and 4-1. So why take that chance when you are not going to get a gammon you're going to win anyway? Well, this game is history. Chris takes the lead. In an 11-point match, winning 2 points is not a little bit. Look how Chris is playing, 1.7. Again, Victor's got a false reading because it's one game. He had one blunder there somewhere. Now, if you listen to my interview with Victor, and I've talked to him about this, he's made intentional blunders. He's dropped cubes that he knows were takes. He's playing to win. And depending on his opponent and how he plays, he isn't trying to get the best PR, but coincidentally, he often does. Winning usually coincides with getting the best PR. They're using I forget the name of that clock. It's really a cool thing you can get on Backgammon Galaxy. You use your own iPhone, but if you're going to do it, I would have a power source for the iPhone to make sure you never run out of power while you're playing. But it's a really great clock. Great interface.
Right.
Good roll.
Yeah, Victor had a very strong start here in opening 3-1 and now double fours. And if Chris does not respond well here, I would expect Victor to double. With this type of structure, it's very, very hard for Chris to get any type of quick turnarounds. And this is
a nothing roll for Chris.
This is a nothing roll. Victor can double here. We'll see if he does.
I think it's close.
I think that this is.
I think it's close.
Borderline double. No, it's not even borderline.
It's not. It's a double. I thought it was closer than that, but 5% is. That's my definition of close. It's not huge.
Relatively smallish double, but a position that's very easy to understand.
Yeah.
You have a racing edge. You have a priming edge. You have an attacking.
Very
edge.
good double. Big take, and he takes.
Every single way we can assess the position, Victor's got the edge here.
Sure. 6-1 and 4-1. He hits twice and goes for the blitz. Otherwise, he's going to play a priming game. There's that 4-1. I would have liked to see the double hit. Six three makes the 3-point. Yeah. Steve Sachs says it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Can I hit? Can I make a point? Can I escape my checkers?
So double fours. I would make the 2-point and the 4-point. When you are under attack, as Chris is right now, your best defense is to build a strong home board.
And Chris is very, very right. This play was almost a blunder, and he did it pretty quickly, which he shouldn't have done. But if Chris was playing, the right play would have been made there.
The problem is Victor's not going to change what he's doing because Chris built a 4 prime in front of his reverse anchor. The way to impede Victor from attacking you and priming you and building counter threats is to have a home board. So if you roll a nice number, you've got a chance to build your forward momentum.
Nice catch. Did you play Chris in this tournament? Hi, Chris, did you play?
I did play Chris. Yeah.
Chris. Oh, that's right. I remember. I did the commentary. Chris and Chris. It was Chris and Chris, and you outplayed him.
A little bit.
A little bit.
All right. So Victor, or rather Chris, gets the anchor.
That was big to get that anchor.
Now,
this is even bigger.
Before the double fives, we had worked our way to a kind of 50-50-ish game, but now obviously Victor's back.
Yeah, that was a huge roll.
Yeah.
Victor finally got some luck. That first game was just incredibly unlucky for Victor. You just shake it off and forget about it.
Yeah, so
one of my students was asking me, he's in a very big match in the intermediate. Yeah. I said, just concentrate on every play, don't think about luck.
Chris can make anything here. He can make the 3-point, he can cover and start the 4-point or the 5-point. It's just a matter of just building up his board and keeping flexibility as you do that so you minimize the awkward numbers. This is fine. I probably would have played 7-4 here just to maximize my flexibility. But it makes no, it's trivial. I think Victor will. Whichever two he plays, I don't think it matters much.
Are you sure it's right to volunteer? It is, yeah. 2 down or 1 down? It is right.
Because next roll, Chris is going to have a 3.5-point board.
Yeah.
And you may not be able to avoid the volunteer of the
16. So even if he rolls the 5-2 and hits you, you got a pretty bad board on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people wouldn't have volunteered there.
Yeah.
It was right.
Well, when you're looking at a situation like that, you need to ask yourself, how likely am I to be able to avoid the volunteer next roll? And here, clearly, Chris is building his board. So if you think it's likely you're going to have to volunteer the 17-1 shot, just do it now.
Very good analysis. I'm actually glad you're here now. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure before, but wow,
here too, so.
You're smarter than you look.
A lot of ways I could go responding to that.
Yeah, Chris and I go back about 35 years when we used to play at the Ace Point Club in New York. And I still play with him. And now that I see how he plays, I'm going to try and see how maybe I should be avoiding him more. Good roll. Anything that clears points when you're up in the race by 15 and 9, 24 pips. All you want to do is clear points and bring them in. If you don't leave a shot, almost always you win. When you're way up in the race. By the way, they are playing legal moves, and the transcriber who's in the room with them, if he sees an illegal move, will alert them to it. The rest of the tournament is not necessarily illegal moves. It's up to the players to decide if they want to play responsible moves or legal moves. I'm a big proponent of legal moves when you have a transcriber and you're on the stream.
Yeah, and that's what I did with Chris when I played him. We told the transcriber that if there was an illegal move by one of us and the other person didn't catch it, that we directed him to inform us, so we would go back and fix it. That's the way we both wanted to play.
Very good, and that's the way we're going forward, too. We told Aviv from Israel, great transcriber, how many people can keep up with these matches, especially when they go fast. He's doing an amazing job. Let's not forget Bill Riles and Tara for setting up the streaming. Another beautiful job. And a staff of 16 people here at running a beautifully run tournament, the most important tournament in the world, being run very beautifully by the Galaxy staff.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Arda as your tournament director. 2-6.
2-6, okay.
If you look at the XG, you'll see.
Right, yeah. Oh, yes, of course, thank you.
That helps you.
Yeah.
Helps you see it. We do have some glare on the dice today. I'm going to start calling out the rolls more.
Yeah.
These are non-glare dice, but something must be wrong with the lighting or a little bit off with the lighting. That's a 4-2. I'll start calling the dice more. Make it more helpful. Six, 2. Okay. Nothing leaves a shot. That's the position you want to be
Victor
in.
will not be in any risk of leaving a shot until at least the third roll from now, and most likely the fourth roll from now. In fact, as we see here, it's correct by a slight amount for Chris to just disengage entirely, because the problem with this is that if your opponent rolls a 1-1, 2-2, something like that, he closes you out, and then the numbers that you want your opponent to roll in a race, the very small ones, actually work to finish Chris off. So that's why we saw the.
So you either stay with both or go with both in these kinds of situations.
Yeah.
If you go with both, you're basically giving up the game but saying, I'm never going to get gammoned. So the right play here is to clear the 6 point.
Yeah. Well, now after Victor rolled double fours, there's what little bit of racing equity there is gone. So Chris is going to try to stay and hope that he hits the last block at the bottom of Victor's
anytime you see 5 checkers on the top point, you can always dream of a high double for a shot. Double fives or double fours or double sixes. They're the only rolls I see that leave a shot. That's not many rolls, but it's a shot. It's a chance.
Oh my
God!
Just rolled his absolute worst.
The worst. Not only
now he's not even. Now the game is over if Chris hits the ace, because otherwise Victor would have had 4 guys off. But here the game is just over.
The worst roll he could have had by far. The only roll that leaves a shot, doesn't take one off. Okay, at least he got away with a hit. Yeah. I'm not rooting for either of these, but I'm rooting for not big luck to happen, or not bad luck to hurt anybody. This sort of evens up the bad luck that Victor had by rolling the double fours. Well, who was unluckier, the one that left the shot or the one that missed it? That's always a debate. I think the one that missed it, because that was the one that mattered for who won.
I found that the more unlucky player is always the person who's complaining about their luck.
I agree. I have a saying, superstition brings bad luck.
All right, and now we're 2 games in, and we've had enough decisions that the PRs are starting to normalize, and we see that both guys are playing well in the 2s, kind of like mid-May for batting averages in Major League Baseball. You've got enough data points to make the numbers meaningful.
And for those of you who are not aware, playing under 3 PR is like as good as anybody in the world. It's fantastic. That's only the best players in the world play at that level. The odds of there maintaining it to the end of the match, not great for Chris, but pretty good for Victor. He could easily play under 3. He does it often. Chris is a very fine player, but he's more likely to play under 3 or 3.5 or 4. This is why we favor Victor. Morton Holm runs a book. And you can go online and you can actually bet.
What's that?
You can go to clubgourmet.dk and you can bet on your favorite or bet against your enemy if you have one. And There's a lot of side money bet on these games. It's kind of fun to see what the odds are. Morton sets the odds arbitrarily. At the beginning, Mochi's odds were not much better than a couple of other people, and I couldn't understand why until I looked at the draw sheet. Mochi had much tougher matches to play, and Morton took that into account. And, of course, that's going to matter. So Michi, for example, was only slightly worse odds than Mochi because Michi had an easier draw. Of course, they both got knocked out like almost everybody who was great in the first round. There were 12 previous world champions. 8 or 9 of the 12 got knocked out in the very first round. Frank was one of the few that made it through. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Chris Rogers is from England, and Victor is from New York area, and also has a place in Greece where he spends a lot of time. He married the lovely Alia, and he has coached her, and she's become a very fine player. In a very short period of time, she went from a ranked beginner to an open-level player. They got to be one of the strongest couples in backgammon.
So interesting decision for Chris. He can make the bar and leave the double shot here, which is correct, or he could have made his deuce point and not taken that chance. And he made the right play, and it paid off for him because Victor missed the double shot. So I think Victor's going to make his 10-point and come up, but he could also try to work the position a different way by making the 5-point and hitting loose.
Yeah. There's also pointing on the 2-point, which is not far off.
Which is not far off. If he starts with safety in that checker, then he's gonna come up and make the 10-point.
Which is
I think the problem with the hitting plays is attacking your own board is always degraded a little bit when your opponent has your bar.
No, you're totally wrong because he rolled double 6, so the hit must have been right.
Ah, okay.
You want your opponent on the bar before he rolls a double 6. All you have to do is know what your opponent's next roll is going to be, and you'll always get the right play.
That is true.
In fact, I play a game like that. You see your opponent's next move, and then you get to move, and you keep playing the whole game that way. It's really kind of fun. I love variations, and that's one of my favorites.
Well, Chris will have a second chance to make his deuce point here. And
Victor will have a second.
Victor will.
Yeah.
So I think Victor's played the 3 obvious ones. Now he has to decide whether he wants to
Well, the computer says you take the third one to the deuce, and it's not close.
try to play his racing lead, and it's not close, right?
Not close. And he got it. He found it.
He found it.
It's usually ugly to put a checker down there, but it's the alternate. You should make the ugly play if the other plays are uglier. Well, the race is kind of close, so I think it's clear that you just go out. It is correct. You just go out because you don't want to stay inside and get hit. You want to be able to run from the 18 point because the race is very close. 3 pips is nothing. 6-2. Just play safe. Clearly right.
Victor wasn't able to safety that blot, so Chris will have an 8 shot now.
And there are 6 ways to roll an 8. Except double 2s doesn't hit with this one. 5 in this case. So if you're going to play good backgammon, you need to know those numbers very quickly. I've got it memorized.
You should play 6-4-2-1 here. You want to start the 4-point. You also want to play that ace to the ace point to make use of that checker. I'm not concerned about having the 2 blots here. Victor's not going to volunteer a shot. I think 6-4-2-1 will be better.
That's very reasonable. They're tied. They're tied.
Yeah.
When I see .001, I call it a tie.
It is. I agree.
Because it hasn't been rolled out.
1-5. I play 5 down to 10.
They're fixing the clock and fixing the transcription.
I think they paused it because the transcriber got a roll behind and asked them to pause. And
that's it.
Now they're restarting. Chris will make the 3-point here. Great place so far. PRs are 2.3 for both.
And that's with a blunder by Victor. That's how well he's played the rest of the game.
And a blunder by Chris. Chris's PR
Yeah.
is mostly from the double fours.
That's right. If I made a blunder, my PR would look like 10. He would love to be able to run a checker, but he can't. He could leave an ace shot with that double blot. In fact, I'm tempted to do that.
You mean a deuce shot?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'd leave a deuce shot, and it dupes the twos. I would do that. I actually would do that.
Yeah,
and XG says it's right. 18-14.
I don't think Victor would have hit that blot with anything other than 2-2.
Yeah, why not do it? I think he missed a play there. A play that Phil would have made. My God, how often does that happen? Some people say I'm too self-deprecating, but I'm being facetious. So they balance out. And I'm being lexicophatic now. Well,
A little bit of an awkward situation for
yeah.
Chris. He doesn't want to move any of those checkers, or he certainly doesn't want to give up the bar because he's behind in the race. He would be advancing his home board a little bit farther than ideal to not move all of them, but I think that's
He got it. He got it. Very good play.
Play 7-1-6-4.
Very good play.
Victor now has only a few good numbers. He rolls a non-double that doesn't have has a small number, and he's going to have to bury more checkers.
Very stiff position.
Yeah.
4-1.
Yeah. If Chris can spring that spare with a 7 or bigger, he's really got Victor in a bind because Victor's got a very stiff position when he doesn't. And unfortunately, it's small enough that he does have to break his board.
This is a key roll.
Victor does not get the type of number he's looking for. So now
do you crash?
I think he has to crash. If he leaves a shot, he'll bring the 2 down from the midpoint because that's the best race.
No, crashing was wrong by a lot. Look at that. Huge.
I guess. Well, what XG is telling us is, Victor, you're going to have the same problem next roll, and you're going to have hurt your race and hurt your board in case there's an exchange of hits. That's what that valuation is telling us. And this time, Victor is able to clear the 10-point.
Yeah. This is a classic, what I call spy versus spy standoff. Who rolls the 6 first?
Victor's going to leave a shot with a 5 or a 6 here. That's not a double.
His worst roll would be a 5-1. 5-1 leaves a double shot. That's the only roll. Let's see if it happens and if I caused it to happen by calling it out. You could blame me if he rolls a 5-1. Oh my God, it was close. 6-1. 17 numbers hit. And this would be a double if Chris were also gin in the race, but he's not. Because if he misses, Victor's going to be in good shape in the race and we'll double him out. So you don't give the cube. Plus the fact that when he hits, he doesn't always win. Victor can come right in with a 6. Oh, he got it. He got it. And if Victor doesn't come in with a 6, now we're looking at a different story.
This will be a double in the pass if Victor doesn't come in.
And he doesn't. Should be double pass pretty quickly. And it's a big double and a big pass. All right. So he needed to hit the shot. He was not slightly favored. 17 shots out of is about 47% of the time he would hit, which means he was not favored, but he got a little lucky there. That isn't big luck to hit a shot where you have almost half the rolls hit. But Victor may have been punished for not volunteering the roll before, which according to XG was a very big play to make, very correct play to make.
I think Victor was up enough in the race that if Chris misses the deuce shot after 13-10, 13-9, Victor's going to have a double that was either a pass or very close to a pass. So he's effectively putting the game on the line as a 24-12 favorite, and that was a better outcome for him than creating the final position that we had.
Okay, what Chris is pointing out is when you're making your checker plays, you're also thinking about how it affects your cube action.
Yep.
And Victor had the opportunity to take a chance where he was highly favored that could easily give him the game by using the cube. And he missed that play.
Yep.
And it's so easy for us to get it right when we're seeing XG and doing hindsight. But I'm always right when I'm looking at XG. Well, most of the time. Sometimes I still get it wrong. And it turned out to be very costly. It cost him the game.
Chris will do that, and he'll play 15-11 with the 4, which is clear. Oh, I guess it's not clear.
You just don't want to give your opponent a 6 from the bar. That's the reason for that play. And see?
Yeah,
See?
I see.
Can I say, see? I told you so.
See.
It's a big thing when the only roll that hurts your opponent is a 6 coming in. Don't give him a good 6 elsewhere. And most of the time, that's what you should be thinking about. A lot of the time. In fact, it's always right except when it's wrong.
An interesting feature of this position is that deuce shot that Victor has at the 11 point is almost irrelevant because he's stripping the midpoint, leaving a bunch of blots, and he was also duplicating with the deuce that would have made the 20-point anchor. And so Chris is sitting there saying if Victor uses a 2 this way, I don't mind too much because he would have otherwise used.
That's a great insight. By what you mean is almost irrelevant is that even if he gets the shot, it's not going to improve his game that much.
That's right.
You always fight for that 5 point, even though you're taking a big chance.
You're also taking half a roll away from Victor, in which he has an army that is ready to mobilize, but at the current time is vulnerable because of all the blots. And now Victor comes back with a poor number, and Chris has a variety of good responses here. And there's quite a few hits and covers. But even if he misses and just covers, he's got a strong position.
Well, he covers.
He covers. This is a big edge for Chris. He's got a much stronger structure, and Victor needs to respond well here to him.
Four three is a very decent roll. I don't know. I'm making the 4 point heavy. He hits. Oh, cover and hit.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't see the hit right away. So the saying is, hit a blot and prime a pair.
Well, he's got 3 checkers back, and he wants to unstack the place that's got 5 checkers, and he pretty desperately doesn't want Chris to make his bar.
Wow.
And the numbers that would escape if he didn't hit is a 5. It's not one of the numbers in use for the bar, and sometimes you get a real payoff when a guy dances on a 2 point board like this.
Wow, that was a great hit. Very, very good play. I can't swear that I would have gotten it. This is clear. This is easy. I would come closer. No. No, the play is 22-21. Wow.
Well, he can fight for a better anchor. And the other thing is that if Chris were to dance again, Victor would now have 7s,
Wow.
8s, and 9s to hit that outside blot.
This is a tough play, and he found it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Victor's not going to want to hit loose with a 2 or a 4 entry because Chris now has the stronger board. And so when you start to get into these positions where there's a lot of blots flying around everywhere, sometimes having a 3 point board versus a 2 point board gives you a big edge in the position. So this is...
That was a beautiful, beautiful play by Victor. Really,
Yeah,
look, I think a lot of people would miss that play.
I agree.
If I didn't have XG, I would question the play. Okay, anchor and run.
It's his improved anchor.
Yeah,
The stick
anchor
comes out.
and run. Yeah, it paid off big time.
Yeah.
Having the higher anchor is big. You can
Yeah.
you're shooting it more of the outfield. You can get out. You can't get primed. You get gammoned less for a lot of reasons. You much rather have the 4 point than the 3 or the 2 point.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this position in totality, Victor before was, staring at having a 4 point blockade, in front of his anchor on the 3 point, and Chris having a real priming game plan. Okay, now there's nothing that Chris can really do to Victor on his side of the board that Victor's concerned about, and Victor's just sitting here focusing his entire attention on, detaining that one straggler. And if he can make the 5 or the bar here, particularly the 5, then he'll have a chance to attack that guy and potentially work his way towards a cube.
This is covered very well in the new book by Mochi and Mark Olson that you can buy on Galaxy. The first part of the book is by Mochi about prime versus blitz. And if your opponent is clearly in a priming game, you got to advance that anchor. If he's in a blitzing game, you got to not leave him shots.
Yep.
So that same play would be wrong in a blitzing game.
So on this play, Chris has 2 choices, and as we see, they're very close. He either wants to make the 9-point, which he did to block Victor, or run that blot all the way out. Any play where he left that blot on Victor's 3 or 5-point would have been a sizable mistake, because he's encouraging Victor to do what Victor would like to do anyway, which is make his 3 or 5-point.
So you either come out all the way or not at all.
Yes, exactly.
I got you. 3-2 is the roll. Kind of a nothing roll.
Not a good roll for
You
Victor.
know, he has to stack.
He had various productive rolls, and he's has to
Well,
stack in a way that
but
he's
XG liked the slot there.
less likely to do something useful.
XG liked the slot.
Really?
Yes. I didn't see how much, but he wanted both. They wanted both checkers off the 8. That would have been a big slot. You're trying to prime your opponent.
See, now we see that Victor's structure was weakened enough in the last play that it's really a toss-up of whether Chris comes up with the 2 here or just plays 8-6. Because Victor only has 5s and 3s to hit him, and I think I would have made this play. I'm not sure.
It's close, very close. He needs a 5-3 or a double 3, and hitting loose is not going to be fun, but he might have to. 3-2 probably would hit loose. You got to hit a blot and prime a pair. Double 3s. Oh, that's the dream roll.
That's the super joke.
That's the dream roll. That's it. That's it. If he doesn't come in, cube.
I would cube this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
There's only 5
and a
crossovers
pass
outside.
Sure.
There's not enough games.
That was the knockout punch.
Yep.
Absolute knockout punch. I'm going to quit complaining about Victor's bad luck. Let's see what the luck says. XG computes your luck factor as you go. Next time I get a chance, I'll look at it. I usually ignore it unless I see somebody who's really consistently unlucky, and Victor really was in that first game when he missed all those shots. But he's made up for it. The score is even. The PRs are very, very low. Chris is playing under 2. My goodness. At the end of the match, that's all you can do is hope you played well. Very good roll. Racing roll, making the point.
So the nice double 6s.
Very nice. That's a big swing roll for Chris. Five, 4.
Victor's just going to build his board here. Chris had that nice roll, but it's not easy for Chris to improve his position here. He's got those. So that will do it. He's got the 2 stacks on the bar and the 6.
I give up the midpoint here.
I played.
And that's right.
I moved to the 15.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. He now has a racing lead, and when you have a big racing lead, you want to race. You want to race, and remember,
You're right.
And
You're
one of the
right.
things people need to remember is when you have a big racing lead and you are not in a racing position, that's a problem, because another way to describe a racing lead not in a racing position is you're playing a holding game where you're out-timed. So it's, if you look at all the correct plays, they all involved moving up, because Victor does not want to be stuck on Chris's bar anymore.
Chris did not want to be stuck on Victor's bar.
Chris did not want to be stuck on Victor's bar, correct. And Chris now doubles. This should be an easy take for Victor with the anchor.
It's not even a double,
It's not even quite a double.
but I like the double.
Yeah.
I like it anyway.
He has what he needs to have a thin take from just racing equity, and here Victor has an obvious amount of play from the 3-point. It's not easy for Chris to improve his position immediately without a double, and he will probably leave several fly shots that Victor will have a chance to hit.
Yep, and Victor took.
He has more of a board.
And Victor took.
Yep.
You thought about it a little bit. 5-4 is not a good roll. You just go behind, don't you?
That's actually not a bad roll. He should bring the two guys in.
The 2 around. It doesn't leave a
Victor's
direct.
got the blot on the 5,
sure.
so
it's not a direct shot.
he's exposed to 6 numbers, and in any case, Victor has that blot on the 5 points, so this is the time you want to do it. And Victor does roll the 2-5. Despite the blots, it's obviously he's happy to hit. And Chris does hit it back.
And happy to hit back. You want to talk about happy?
Yeah.
He liked to come in with a 1 or doubles. He did come in with a 1. That's what he wanted.
So he'll come in and hit the outside checker.
Sure. And Chris would like to roll a 5.
Chris would like to roll
or
a
a
5,
2,
but-
something coming in with a 2. 5 is good, but the 6 is not pretty.
Yeah, he's just got to come off the midpoint and volunteer the ace and deuce. I don't like the hit of A2 because that kills his structure, and we're certainly not coming off the anchor. This is not a good play.
Yeah, this is a blunder, and he did it pretty quickly.
Way too much damage to your structure.
Shouldn't make blunders quickly at their level.
Yeah.
You might make a blunder, but think about it at least. You got lots of time on the clock.
Victor had only 20 numbers to hit the blot on the midpoint, and even if he did, it's not a big deal. Chris is on his 5 point, and he can recirculate that checker relatively easily.
Yeah, and he ruined his structure with that play too.
Yeah, just not.
I think you hit again.
He's been playing fantastically so far, but that was
you hit again.
That was by far his worst play of the match so far.
And he did it quick. I still don't understand that. Maybe it was just so obvious to him.
All right, now he's...
That's the right play. Even though it looks silly to leave those 2 blots, it's better than any alternative, and you don't always get hit. 16 rolls don't hit you. No, double 1s hit you also, so he can take his pick. I think you hit with a 2 and clean up the outfield. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's right. Hit with a 2, clean up those blots in the outfield. Nothing else comes close. Well, 6-4 isn't terrible.
Well, I mean, the only reason you would think about this is because you would like to unstack the 6 point, and you're also not very worried about Chris coming in with a number and hitting off the midpoint, because the midpoint is stripped, and he still doesn't have much board. So that's why the other play was close. But I think this makes sense.
Coming out to the bar is slightly right. 6-4 is close. They're very close.
Yeah.
He's looking at it. He just pointed to that play. That's the right play. Very nice play. Very nice play. A lot of people wouldn't do that. Getting hit off the bar, you have lots of return shots if you get hit there. 5-4 is not an easy roll.
This is actually a quite awkward number for
Yep.
Victor. It's got to hit and bring
And he finds the right play right away. Nothing else comes close.
Chris fans, and Victor has a clear double here. Chris has got 2 more blots, and there's a lot of times that Victor, one of the things that people say is that, I can't be blitzed if I had an anchor. It's not quite true. If you have a single anchor, but you have enough blots in the outfield, somebody can execute a semi-blitz against you where they close you out of everything but 1 point and bring it around and win a gammon. And the possibility of that here is why Victor has a double. We see by looking at the XG feed that over half of his wins are in fact gammons here.
A 4 cube with a gammon in this match?
Oh, wait, Victor's already been. Oh, Victor's
It's a
already been
recube.
doubled. It's a
yeah,
recube.
It's a recube.
Oh, I am.
So,
I am right that it's a double, but I didn't see it was a redouble. I
yeah,
would've
and you
thought
got to
about
be
it
a little
longer.
slower on the redouble, but
Yeah.
still, think about this.
Yeah.
You turn the cube to 4, you gammon and win 8 points. That's the match.
Yeah,
So the
I-
gammon value is very, very high here. If he turns the cube, that's another reason it's a double.
Yeah, I spoke too quickly because I didn't see the Victor already had the cube, but what I was saying about having a semi blitz, I do think that's what's relevant here. And Chris has 3 blots in play here, and if Victor has can roll a number that an ace that covers or a 6 that covers.
Yes, but at a different score where the gammon is 100% efficient and gets you to the 11 points exactly, it might not be a double.
That's correct.
So that we have to understand gammon value, the value of winning a gammon. So those 33 gammons are equal to 33 wins. They probably have a 1.0 gammon value. That's monstrous. That's the reason this is a cube.
Yeah.
Probably more than anything else. Well, of course, everything you say about the position is absolutely right, Chris, but that's you got to. How many people are thinking that when I turn the cube, my gammon value goes way up?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't notice. When I spoke, I didn't see Victor already had the cube, and that's my bad.
This might not be an initial double. It's funny. This could be reverse. It might not be an initial double, but it might be a recube. How often does that happen?
I'm pretty confident this is an initial double.
Really? That's it. I'd like to run that. That's really interesting. Because of the gammon value, maybe not. But might be. It might be.
This is.
Most of the time, you got to be much better to redouble than to double. But when your gammon value goes to 1, whew, through the roof. Victor could win the entire match here 33% of the time if he cubes. It's not fun to lose 4 points if it goes wrong.
It's hard to know what Victor's thinking here. He's obviously going through the possibilities of the individual roles. When you are the better player, which Victor almost always is when he plays somebody, you tend not to want to introduce a high degree of volatility in individual situations, which obviously redoubling would. The other thought is, despite the fact that
he's doubling. Yes, this is big.
He doubled, and Chris had thought about it, and he took it.
This is big. This could be the match if he wins the gammon. This is very exciting. A 4 cube and 11-point matches. This is where the rubber hits the road. Yes.
Hits the road.
Yes. We both thought the same thing. 5-3. Well, that's good. At least he covers. Comes up with a 3.
I think anything else is too big.
He gives away the chance to hit that checker, but you need to get out, and everything else is ugly. Chris really needs to perform here. He needs to come in. He'd love to make the 18. Okay, he did come in, but not a really good come-in number, though. 18-14 is right. Just minimize shots, and also he doesn't want Victor to hit him off the bar point and make the bar point. If he hits him outside, he's not helping him make a good point. So he's got 2 reasons to play 18-14. Nothing else is really close. There we go. He got it. Victor would like double 2s. Double 2s, he's thinking. Double 2s. Hits both and makes the 2-point. 3-1. Ooh. Do you hit or make the 4-point? You hit. 3-point. The 3-point is wrong. You're hit. You're playing a blitzing game. You want that gammon.
At this point, he's made his ace point. He's got Chris on the run. You don't want to give Chris a chance to consolidate this position. If you don't hit this guy and Chris safeties that blot back on the 23, Victor has not much. Just a holding game with a racing lead.
Yeah, and when you made your ace point, you pretty much want to play a blitzing game. Yeah. You're not going to play a priming game.
Yeah.
It's a good play by Victor. I might be tired of saying that, but I'm not. Ooh, big dance. Now he's going to go after him. Now he's going to go for the blitz.
Yeah.
Any 2, 4, or 6, or 11, or 9, 5-3. I failed to name any of those.
I'd just make the 3-point here.
Sure.
We need to make both, so let's do it.
Yeah, he couldn't hit, but that helps, especially if Chris doesn't roll a 2 here. Chris rolls a 2 here, he's got a hell of a game. What else, Victor? What are you looking at?
I don't think he's seriously considering anything else. I think he knows he has plenty of time here and what might be the last game of the match. So he's being extra careful, but
What might be the last game of his tournament?
last game of the tournament. So, last game of the tournament
For one of them.
one of these two guys. I would be shocked if he did something else. And that's not because I'm looking at the XG.
Yeah.
It's because I can't really see the merit of anything. There's wrong plays you can see
Well,
the merit of, and
I
wrong,
coined
wrong plays that you just don't see the
I
merit of.
coined the term FBL, forced by logic.
Yeah.
Oh, is that big?
Wow.
Is that big to roll a 2? Does he hit? What else are you
Now,
going to
does
do?
he hit?
Does
And
he
if
hit?
He hits.
He
Which
does.
he hit off of?
He does hit.
And this is wow. We'd have to get a roll out of this. Which point to hit off of is very close.
I like hitting off the 2. I like being able to hold that 5 point. It's real close, but I'm surprised it's close.
I agree, but it's worth thinking about. And
Ooh,
wow, Victor just
big
stands.
turnaround.
This was an unbelievable turnaround.
Big turnaround.
Chris rolled the 2.
Oh.
Victor came, and now Chris has enormous cube re-leverage here because he can redouble Victor for the match. I don't think you redouble here, and as we see, it's not quite time. But
It's
he's
close.
He's at 60% winning chances.
I'm doubling Victor. If it's me playing Victor, I'm doubling here. I want to put pressure on him and scare him, have some fun. But it would only be a 3% error. I'm not sure that's an error when you're playing Victor Ashkenazi. This hits again. But boy,
This hits again, but there's that blot on the 3-point, and
you hit twice. Hit twice is a real possibility here. Wouldn't that be fun? I think I might hit twice just because it's so exciting. And it's not bad. It's really close.
yeah, but if he hits one of those,
But if he doesn't, you can claim. You might even be too good. Oh, no. Oh, this is not.
no, this is
No, this is too passive. This is not terrible, but it was not the best
I
idea.
think I would have come out with the 6 and hit the blot
Yeah.
on the 5-point.
Yeah.
And with the 2 anchors, I would gamble that if things went badly, I could recover in time.
Well, you only had one anchor.
Oh my God, Victor dances again.
This game is over. Should be over.
Now Chris
It says no double.
still not quite there.
Not there. I'm doubling. 6s and 3s to hit. 1s, 3s, and 4s to cover.
Yeah.
Lots of hitting him. Oh,
Two's hit also.
this looks better than XG says. XG doesn't really know this position.
Well, he's gone from 60 to 64% winning chances, so he has improved, but it says it's still not a double. He still can't clean up that blot. 6-5, it seems pretty clear to just hit and continue to the 9-point here. And that's the correct play.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. I don't think Chris needs to think about this one for long.
What a big turnaround this was for Chris. Victor lost a heartbreaker to Frank in the undefeated, getting Gammon on the last game in a position where he was clearly way ahead and winning the match. But that's backgammon. That's why it's so exciting. He needs a 3 or a 5.
And again, he rolls a 6. Victor's had very poor.
Now we have a small redouble
Now
according to
we finally have a
XG.
redouble. Chris is up to 69%, and it's a bare redouble. And he thought about it the last 2 rolls, and so this is a tough find.
In
But
the last 2 rolls, it was close.
I'm saying he thought about it. So I think he went into this roll thinking that if I need a little bit more, and he definitely improved that roll. And I think he's going to find it. I think he's going to find it. And Victor's going to hate to take this cube, but I think Victor's going to find the take.
It's a big take.
The big take. But I think Victor's going to hate to take it, but he will.
If not, if he drops it, he's losing 7-3.
Yeah.
His chances of winning the match there are what, about 30%? Or about
think
20,
Chris is gonna find
25%? He's got more than that here. Gammon's won't matter. He rolled. He just rolled. Okay.
So
2017,
cover.
4-3.
his position's strong enough now.
Victor is obviously having a sigh of relief that he wasn't doubled.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes these positions, if you don't get a direct feel for the position, ask yourself if you were in your opponent's shoes, what would they want you or not want you to do? And I have to think Victor was happy not to be doubled there.
Well, Woolsey's Law. That's the number one rule in backgammon, in my opinion. The best tool in backgammon is Woolsey's Law. Put yourself in your opponent's shoes. Would you take or would you pass? And are you sure?
Yeah. And Victor finally rolls a good shot, and now he's in the game for a while. And we see
it's a close game.
See Victor went from 30% game winning chances to 45 there.
Yeah, now it's
That's
a
how big the anchor
close
is.
game.
This is just now. Chris is now just coming home against a holding game. And Victor may have a little bit of trouble springing that extra checker on the 20-point around to build up his board.
This is very bad. Double ones.
Yeah, so he should. We'll do that and probably make the deuce point though.
Yep.
Imagine switching from the 6 to the 5 is a little bit worse.
And the race you can see is very, very close. 2 pips.
Yeah.
And there's still every game is a race. Remember that. Whoever wins this backgammon game is the one who gets their checkers off first.
I think Chris will find this play. The only safe play here is to pick up the bar point, and that just seems way too awkward. And even if Victor hits this 5, there's no direct cover of the blot on the 4 point, and the anchor on the 17 impedes Victor from just laying his checkers out in his outer board to cover that. So I think he'll find the correct play here. Play 17-10.
I don't know. You're in Monte Carlo. You're in the fighters bracket. You're not far away from the world championship. There's a little pressure on.
Yeah,
you might not find the right play so easily, but he does. Looks like he's got it.
He's going to.
Okay, he got it. Good. He's a very methodical player. He's not going to do too many. He did one blunder very fast, though.
Other than that very sloppy hit with the 6, Chris has played this match very, very well. Much stronger than he played yesterday.
3-1.
Victor's just got to bring it down. I mean, he's not going to crash his board anymore.
He made the right play.
Yeah. That's not to say that it won't be big for Chris to hit this ace. It will be when he missed it.
He missed it. Aces don't get hit that much, only 11 times.
Yeah.
This is a very, very tenuous position for both players. Double twos. I guess you have to come down from the mid. You do, because there's not much else you can do. And bring it in. No, 6-4 is right. That's the right play. Very close to playing 13-9. Is very close. The race is still 2 pips. It's just nip and tuck here. With a 4 cube, it's very, very exciting. I'm on the edge of my seat. This is a really exciting match. And they're both playing very well. Oh.
That's a huge shot.
Huge shot.
Because Victor wanted to get that spare off the 20-point.
Safely.
Where to safety,
Yeah.
where he can use it to build up his home board and have some pips to play with on non-double.
Which means he needed to roll a 9.
Which meant he needed to roll a 9.
And he did.
And Chris was trying to build up his board so that Victor would have to bury checkers, waiting for a 9 to get that off. And now Victor's got plenty of time.
Yeah. And as you can see.
And we see that now is that Chris was 60-40 in the game for the last couple rolls.
Now it's 50-50.
It's 50-50. That's how big that 9 was.
Yep. We got a
Victor will make
6-2.
his 5 point here.
Yep. This is a nip and tuck battle, baby.
Yeah.
And they're both playing it very well.
And now the problem is that all of a sudden Chris is looking a little stiff. The double twos is going to help that.
That's a very nice roll.
Very nice roll.
And he's only up in the race by 1 pip after this roll, so that makes me question whether you move those back checkers. But you do. Huh. It's real close. I would be tempted not to.
No, it's not close.
Yeah, after the roll, Chris would be up by a pip.
No, but the 17-13 too is a big error.
It's a big error.
He's supposed to block the 6s.
Okay, then I was right.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. If Chris moves his point from the 13 to the 11, he's blocking the 6s. He then moves 17-15. Okay. we're not worried about those guys being contained by the checkers on the 11 point, because the checkers on the 11 point have to move next roll.
Yeah,
because Victor has to play with them because he has no doesn't have enough playable picks.
And he missed the right play.
He missed the right
It
play.
wasn't a horrible
This is
mistake.
a better play. This is not as good as the right play, but it's a better play than having disengaged
Uh-huh.
completely.
6-1. Not what Victor wanted. A 2 is very big here. Even
Two's
with the
big.
blot in the inner board, a 2 would be a huge swing.
Yeah.
And a non-2 would be a huge swing. And he got the 2. He can't cover, but you still have to hit. You must hit.
You're hitting and you're
Hitting and-
you're going to the 13. Don't leave another blot. And
Yeah.
if this is very simple. If Victor doesn't hit this ace, Chris is going to have a redouble and a pass. And he's going to have a big edge even if Victor enters with a 5.
It doesn't matter which 2 he plays. Or which 4 he plays, rather.
No, it doesn't matter. He doesn't want to come
It's
down.
point.
He doesn't want to come down.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It does
There's no
matter.
reason to get 5-6.
Yeah, you're right. 1 is monstrous, and a non-1 is also monstrous. We're looking at a 4-point swing on this roll.
It could be bigger. The swing here is huge. If Victor had
Yeah.
rolled something like a 1-3 or 1-5, he could hit with the ace, come off the 20, and if Chris has got 2 more blots here, and Victor could gammon him for the match. The swing on that roll was humongous.
Humongous is too big a word for me.
Yeah, right.
Clear redouble, clear pass. Big swing game of the match.
I mean, Victor had some gammon wins in his range when he was shooting at that ace.
Yeah. Victor could have won the match with that cube. You can't fault Victor for doubling there. It was a great double.
Yeah.
And this is a clear pass.
Yeah, I mean the quality of play in this match has been excellent. I mean, Victor had a few small plays. Chris had that one sloppy 6, but they've just both played
Yeah,
fantastic.
what gets me is that Chris is very methodical, and one of his big blunders was when he wasn't thinking about it very quickly and moved very quickly. There's a lesson there, isn't there? Not sure what it is, but it's a lesson.
Just take your time.
Take your time. Yeah.
We're all playing, a lot of backgammon this week, and sometimes you lose your focus for a second, and you have a low energy moment, and you make too quick a play, and you make a play like that. Then Chris will look at the XG file later and say, "What the hell was I thinking?"
Oh, I believe you should have your gut reaction. You should immediately, oh, this looks good, but then always stop and see if I'm missing something. But there's nothing wrong with that gut reaction because it's often right.
Yeah.
Victor's taking a lot longer than I would have imagined for the whole match. He knows the odds in this position very well.
Don't think there's any variation in the universe where Victor takes this cube. But,
I'm giving 10-1 he passes.
yeah.
10-1.
I mean, he's proven, and in this tournament as well, that he can play at a high level with a very small amount of time. So he may well think that's over for another minute or minute and a half, but at the end of the day, I think he's passing.
Kaput. We'll need another computer. My computer isn't charging and isn't working. Yeah, so we'll need another computer. Not necessarily now, but I can't watch the chat without a computer. We'll certainly need it for future matches.
Chris has,
Yeah, I will.
I mean, Chris has only 18 covers. But the thing is that if Chris safeties those blots or makes an outside point, it will no longer be the case that an ace for Victor wins the game for him. And so that's the problem. Chris will safety those blots, and Victor has nothing to make the 6-point with for several rolls. This would likely be a comfortable take if the board was closed rather than the board broken with the spare on the 5. But the problem is Victor can't close a 6-point for many rolls, and he does pass. As we suspected.
Okay, we got the pass as expected. Sorry I can't watch the chat during this match, but we're going to fix that in future. It just won't charge. So, yeah. Show me how. Sure. Going to try and get on the chat with my phone. I would love to hear the comments and the questions. Okay. Okay. 7-3. What does Victor have? About 25%? Neil's numbers, where are you in my head when I forget them? What a brilliant thing Neil came up with many, many years ago to figure out match
It's a little bit
equities.
higher than 25%, but I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
If somebody has Neil's tables in front of you and wants to call that out on the stream, let us know that number. That would be much appreciated.
I'm sure Neil has them. I think he's been on the stream a lot lately.
I'm confident Neil knows his own numbers. Highly confident of that.
Matt Congire's been on the stream. I guarantee you he knows the number.
Okay, strong open for Victor. I think this is not quite a double, but let's see.
Not quite a double, you think? I think it's not quite a double also. Oh, it's right on the edge.
Yeah,
right on the edge.
Not quite a double, but
yeah,
it's close.
Yeah, it's close. It's quite a double, but close. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tara. She always comes to the rescue whenever we need her. And now I can see the chat.
All right. So
30%. Chris Hamilton says 30% odds. We were close.
Victor does double, and Chris had thought it over and knew he was taking it.
Uh-huh.
Grabbed the cube right out of Victor's.
6-2 is the roll.
I'm going to...
The right play.
That's the right play. And now Victor's got his anchor. It's not so easy for Chris to improve on his side of the board, and Victor's going to be focusing on his side of the board now. So Chris is going to have to dump a checker behind.
We got Marty Storer on the stream, and he knows match equities. The problem is with Marty, it takes him more than 2 seconds to figure it out. Maybe less.
All right.
Coming down. What else? Oh, there's a hit. There's coming down. There's a hit. You should not play passively here. You got him outboarded. He's got a blot in his inner board. It's time to get frisky.
Yep.
Feeling frisky. Good play. I would have thought about splitting there, but it's close. Big three. Big three. And he covers.
Cover.
Hit and cover. What a lovely thing to happen.
So if you notice, coming out was only a tiny error. Okay?
Yeah. Structure is a big part of this game, but so is attacking. So this is a beautiful thing about this game. You can have two completely different game plans or and approaches, and they can be close.
This is not a good number. I think Chris has to come out and just play 6-2. We really can't afford to get another checker involved. And he finds it quickly.
Absolutely. Not a good play, but the best play.
Victor's
better than the alternatives.
Good numbers, but he's also got some awkward 5s and 6s here that don't do that much. This is a decent 6 because
This is a kind of an impotent roll.
Nice number. Safety that one.
Yeah,
Try
come
to get
up.
the next one out.
Yeah. And Victor's going to attack that checker.
A discreetly excellent roll for Chris.
Uh-huh. And I think he's going to attack.
Right? Swing the 6 around and hit with the 4.
Right. Hit a blot. Especially when you have him outboarded.
Yeah, there's no
Well,
reason.
it's not outboarded now, but it was 2-2.
There's no reason to come off the anchor here. Coming off the anchor just gives Chris some double hits that could turn the game, and Victor doesn't want to get into a blot hitting contest at this point because his edge is not in inner board points and structure. And
he finds the right play, and coming around also gives you a builder for the 4 point in case he comes in on the 4.
Yep, correct.
Which may well happen.
Yeah.
It's the right play.
Right.
Isn't he glad he came around now?
Yep.
He has that checker shoot. You got a 6 shooting at him.
So Victor's going to roll something, and most numbers are going to put Chris up on the roof against a
5-2. 5-2 is not going to do it.
That's
all he can do.
A bad number for Victor because it gives Chris a chance to get into the outfield and fade one more shot. He doesn't do it.
Oh boy. When you have a 3-1 and you can make the 5 point, it's always right, except when it isn't.
Yeah, but he just can't give him 5s here because 4s and 3s and 1s, work on the 4. He can't give Victor another class of numbers. So I think 13-10-2-1 is going to be the play.
It's so safe, but there are times you need to be safe.
I know, but you really want to give him 5s? That's another
6-2. Nope, making the 5 point
Making
is
5 is
close.
slightly better.
Very
than
close.
13, 10, 2, 1.
Very
That's
close. The 5 point is the 5 point. Remember that.
I know. This is what I would have done. And I would have been wrong.
Well, not wrong. It's not bad.
Would have not wanted to give him 5s.
Okay, here's a hit in the outfield. Get another checker back.
Turns out he hits the blot.
That increases the gammons a lot. If Chris doesn't anchor here, there could be a blitz coming up. And he doesn't anchor. We're going to see a blitz
We're
here.
going to see a blitz, and Victor's gammon chance is going way up here.
Way up. He's going to hit him with anything he can. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, Mancini. I think he was a great boxer, wasn't he? Okay. The 3, see, he doesn't even hesitate.
5 around.
5 around. Just instantly you hit him. This is very big roll for Chris. He doesn't perform here. This match could be even after this game. And he does not perform, just coming in on the 2. It puts a little bit of a chance for him. A lot of interesting rolls coming up here. Okay, 3 covers and 6 hits. 6 covers and 3 hits, yeah.
Make the 4 and hit on the deuce.
Right. That's a beautiful, beautiful roll for Victor.
And now
Now we're going to see it. We're going to see an even match after this game.
this is going to end in a gammon most of the time. All right, 1.
There's still hope.
Probably just bring the 2 up.
Yep. There is still hope for Chris. He rolls a 2 and gets the anchor. He can stop. He can stop a lot of gammons. Nope.
Yeah.
6s and 5s. He doesn't care which. He just wants one of them. There's a lot of combinations too. Got them both. Does it matter? It always matters.
I would just play 13-2. I'm not worried about the back guy. And if you play 13-2, you have a 6-point prime anyway.
And you are correct according to Mr. XG. Don't move the back checker, but it's .010.
Yeah.
Can't fault him
I
for
guess
that.
thematically, this just provides a little bit less
Yeah.
ammo to work on the ace point if Chris rolls an ace, because Victor is absolutely hitting him with a 6 if he could.
Yeah, he would break the prime to hit if he had to,
Yeah.
especially with such a bad board on the other side.
So now I
Builders,
would play 13,
builders.
13-5, yeah,
Sure, builders.
or 15-9, 7-5. That's fine too.
Okay. He would hit with a 6. He would break his prime to hit instead of letting him anchor. 6 or 4. 4, he got it. This is Custer's last stand. Oh, he got it.
Victor and
You got
Chris is fighting, and if he could get that ace point game, it's not gonna.
Knocks the gammons way down.
It's gonna cut the gammons way down, and he'll even get a few lucky wins. Victor gets
Oh, double
rolls
6.
double 6s. That's gonna buy Chris a little more time. Here.
Absolutely. Didn't get the anchor. If Victor comes in with a 6, he's going to break his prime and hit him.
And he'd even think about doing it with doubles that switch, like double 3s, double 4s, double 5s.
I switch with double 1s.
Yeah,
Switch.
switching.
You don't want your opponent to anchor.
Yep.
That was a very good roll for Victor. He made up for the dance and then some. He'll have plenty of covers for that 2-point real soon. He still has a little bit of concern about getting out the back checker when it's on the ace point. Well, I bring the 5 down to be 6 away from the 2-point. I want to go to the 8-point. There he goes. Yes, that's it.
He wants a 6 away here.
Yeah. 6 is the most numbers that can get to a point. So you do worry about the back checker just a little bit, because after you don't want to get stuck there and have to crash. Not now, though. You don't worry about it yet. He's thinking about it, but I like this play. You're going to get out of there right now. He comes up. Now he can get out with 5s and 6s. I'm not even going to say what his horror shakes are, because it would be cruel. It would be very cruel. But he has some. Okay, he's out. A sigh of relief. I'm always sweating that double 4 when I'm in there. And even double 3 wasn't too good. So all Victor cares about now is how do I bear off without leaving a shot? I'm going to get a gammon. On the very last roll or two, you might think backgammons, but you're far from thinking that yet. By the way, a backgammon would be 6 points and would win the match. But 4 points is going to tie this match up. Oh, 6 points doesn't win the match.
6 points would not win the match.
Yeah.
6 points would bring him to 2-away.
That's right, 2-away. That's right. So you just concentrate on the gammon. My math wasn't that good, was it?
Now we're probably up to about 10% backgammons, maybe even more.
Not now.
No, not now. Not after.
Not
6-5.
now.
Had Chris Fan there, we would start to have to think about backgammons, but now.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there's a shot.
Shot.
Now Chris will have a
Oh,
ton
my goodness.
Chris will have a ton of work to do even if he hits this shot, but he's got a
He still wants to hit it.
he's got a chance.
He has a reasonable chance to save a gammon if he hits it. I'd say reasonable.
He's got a lot
still
of work
might
to
get
do. He's
gammon.
got a lot of work to do
Yeah.
to do that, but
He misses. Okay.
misses in. There's
And
no
the crowd
backgammons,
goes
there's
mild.
No saves.
That's it.
We're at a 7-7, and it looks like they're about to take a break.
And he concedes the gammon. Okay. That's smart. Rest both of
Oh,
your...
maybe they're not taking a break. I saw them
If
talking.
I were Chris, I'd take a break.
And they are taking a break. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to take a little bathroom break myself.
No, that's not legal.
Legal?
You can't do that.
All right, well, then you'll report me to the Chiefs.
While we have a little break, I'll mention a couple things. I am definitely going to Dubai this year. $50,000 money added. And I have never been to Dubai. I can't wait to go there. Should be exciting. I am definitely going to New York this year. Next year, I guess, is January 4th. For a couple of reasons. It's the largest tournament in the United States. I love the way it's run. I love being in New York. Pardon me. And on my urging, the tournament director, Lynn Ehrlich, has agreed to have a doubles event called non-consulting doubles, which each player makes their move without consulting their partner. So everybody's in the game. You're not just sitting there listening to the better player. No, she will also have a regular doubles event. So if you don't like that idea, that's fine. If you're going to have a pro and an amateur, that's fine. But if you got two good players together and you can play non-consulting doubles, it's really a fun way to play. Okay, on your screen, you'll see the masterclass book that's available in Galaxy. Go to the Galaxy shop, backgammongalaxy.com. You can also get that wonderful, wonderful clock setup that they have that we're using in this match, and a lot of other good products. I'm going to put in a plug for my own website and company, the BackgammonLearningCenter.com. Perry Gartner and I have, over the years, put together an amazing group of teachers. We just added a guy named Joe Russell. David Wells recently joined our group. Steve Sachs, Mochi. The list is on and on. Dirk, all teachers with our... And they're not just added because they're great players. They're using our teaching system, which has been developed over many, many years. And we've stolen the best out of all of the books and all of the experts and added a few things of our own that you won't find in any book. And it's the fastest and best way, if you can afford it. It's not cheap, but it's the best way to improve your game. And by the way, if you're a lower level player, we do have people who are teaching beginners and intermediates at a lower price. It's all online on Zoom, and the matches are recorded. So I highly recommend it. When I first got serious about this game, I realized I was lousy, and I tried to read books, and it didn't resonate for me. I immediately started taking lessons from Kit Woolsey, and then other great players, McGrill, Roberti, Perry Gartner was my mentor, and it took me to a reasonable level pretty quick. I was playing pretty much money games, and I was honestly making a lot of money because of the teaching. Then when I got into match play, it was a whole nother world, much more complicated. The other thing I'm going to put in a plug for is Extreme Gammon. You must have Extreme Gammon if you want to become a good player. www.extremegammon.com. There's a drop-down screen that says, how did you learn about it? Through the internet, from a friend, or from Phil Simborg. Check my name and I get rich. And I'll help you with a tutorial, 1-hour tutorial that will show you everything about it and save you about a year of trying to figure out all the features of Extreme Gammon. Okay, Chris, bring me up to date on your feelings about this match so far.
In a nutshell, they're both playing great. We've seen, a number of tough positions. We've seen them find small doubles, difficult to find plays. There's just been, just very, very high quality play. There was that one sloppy six by Chris I mentioned, a couple of really tiny stuff from Victor, but really these guys have both brought their A game today. And I know, if we're being honest, when Chris looks at the match yesterday, he made some mistakes he's not going to be happy with, but I think he's going to be super proud of
Yours is too quiet, he said. Thank you.
I think he's going to be super proud of how he's playing this one. So,
okay, so what happened, the big swing of the match was when Victor properly gave a recube, where he had real good gammon chances and could have won the match, and he was punished for it, just like the dice gods have in mind. Man plans and God laughs, and that's what happened to Victor. But he got back at it. He made up for it, and now it's a tied match. So it's really exciting to be this close. What's our score?
Our score is 7-7,
four away. Now,
Okay.
here's what I tell all my students. Before every game, think about the match score and think about how that affects the game. The most important thing to remember at four away is if you turn that cube, a gammon wins you the match. So the gammon value is 1.0. It's much higher. Most of the time, the gammon value is 0.5. It's half as much. So at this score, if you have a smell of a gammon, you would turn the cube much faster than you would at other scores. And at this score, if you're given the cube and there's some real gammon risks, you would drop the cube faster than you would at other scores. Now that affects.
On the other hand,
yeah, go ahead.
If you give on the other hand, if you give the cube and your opponent turns it around, the recube leverage at this score, where they could double you in non-gammonish positions for the match, is huge for the trailer as well.
All right, Chris, that's very, very insightful, because the recube take point at four away is what?
33%.
Yes, you're right. 33. 25, 25, 33, 25.
When if the
33,
person,
you're
if the original doubler faces a recube, they are faced with the choice of playing it for the match or playing two away, four away. And as we all know, two away, four away is 33%. And so the original doubler has a very high, or relatively high, compared to cash games and most tournament scores, take point. And so it's really a double-edged sword here. If you have a gammonish position as the leader, you want to double to give yourself a chance to win the match. On the other hand, if you are in a position that has a lot of gammons, but you don't tend to win that much more than 50% of the time, you may want to wait, because your opponent will have, if your opponent has quick turnarounds where they can get themselves to winning almost 50% of the games, they can give it back to you quickly, which is why we often see undoubled back games at this score. If this emerges in a situation where one side gets a ton of checkers back and they have a deep back game, 1-2 or a 1-3 back game, it makes no sense for the defender of the back game to double, because then the person playing the back game will just take the cube and immediately re-whip it to 4, and then gammons don't count. And when you are defending a back game, you want gammons to count.
Okay, so what you just explained means this is complicated. This is not easy.
Yes.
There is nothing like this in a money game. There is nothing like this at most other scores. It's a very interesting and unusual score, and you need to set your mind and realize all these things before you even start. Okay, here we go. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. And let's pretend that at the beginning of the match, Victor was a 55-40. I wouldn't be quite that high, but maybe a 55-45 favorite. Just a wild guess. Right now, he's probably 52.
Yeah.
It just, in a 3-point match, it's just not that big an edge to be better.
Yeah, and Chris is really on his A game today, and so
yeah, he's playing 2.2. My goodness.
Yeah.
We are seeing incredible backgammon.
Yep.
You know why? They're doing this for me. Before the match, I told both of them, play well. I think they're only doing it because I asked them to play well. It's all about me.
All right, Victor misses, but he rolls a fine miss. Oh no, sorry, he didn't miss. He hit there. And he'll probably continue with that checker. Okay, place this. XG like coming to the 15 a little bit better, but Victor's play is certainly reasonable.
please hit that like button if you're watching on the stream. And the more likes we get, what that does for backgammon is people who search for backgammon are more likely to come to our videos. And I think that's going to grow the game. I think streaming grows the game as much as anything these days.
Are they more sensitive? Oh, I just have to sit closer to it. Good. Okay. All right.
Not a pretty roll. That's about all you can do.
Yep.
Put the checker where it wants to be. You want to make the 4-point. You don't want to create more blots. Do you hit 2? Or
No,
you hit and cover?
I hit and cover.
Hit and cover is right.
It's not a very pretty play structure-wise,
Yeah.
but Victor can come in and hit a checker, or he can come in and cover his blot on the 4-point, but unless he rolls a double, he can't do both. And I think that's really the key to the position, is that those blots aren't particularly vulnerable, given that Victor has no board. So he rolls the 1-6.
Well, which one do you hit? It's close, but it's better to hit the checker on the 17 than the 18, I guess because of return shots and duplications.
Probably
Duplicates the 4.
the duplication
The
of
duplication
fives.
of 5s, I mean. Yes, duplicates the 5s.
Probably the duplication of fives.
These are tricky. I often have questions about which one to hit. But it's nice to have the choice, isn't it? And he hits the right one.
Yeah.
What a surprise. Victor made the right play. Nice roll. Makes 2 points.
Yep.
It's about an even game now.
What's he do with the
You bring the
5?
5 down because there's nothing else.
There's nothing else.
Forced by logic. That was forced by anything. 2-1. Making the 5-point non-stacking. Clearly right. Beginners are afraid to make that play. Give them a 6, but it's not as many 6s as you think because the combinations don't all work.
Not a good number for Victor. He's forced to
No.
stack again. And if Chris can make his bar here, Victor's going to have some awkward shakes next roll that might pull a second checker loose. What do you do here?
Doubles are always harder because you can have twice as many things you can do, so you really have to
I
think
would
a while.
play 24-16 twice here.
24-16 twice is not the right idea.
That's not the right idea. Okay. So play it once and make the deuce point.
I think I would. I'm pretty sure I would get this right because I would have waited for XG first to tell me what to do. Because this is a toughie. Very tough play. 24-16, 6-2. You make the 2-point, and you come out. No, this is not the right idea. Make the 2-point and come out is the right play. All right, he's made the 2-point. Now what else do you do? This is not bad. This is not bad. Reasonable play. Victor's got a very, very awkward position here. He needs something good. He needs to run. He needs a 5-3. 3-2 is not good. Well, he steps up and comes in. Yeah, he's stepping up. Is pretty safe here with the 3.
It's 3-3, isn't it?
Oh, 3-3. I missed that. I thought it was 3-2.
So there's different things he can do. He can make the 10-point, he can make the 3-point, he can make the bar point, or he can run with that checker. So there's lots of different possibilities here.
Well, he's up a lot in the race. Doesn't that tell you what his game plan is? It's the race. Get out of there. Oh, wow. Hitting on the 1. Wow. He's much better off making the 3-point than this play. But he's thinking if he does this, he's less likely to get hit.
Yeah.
Because a 6 still hits him, but the combinations don't hit him.
The thing is, the hit isn't deadly because certainly Victor doesn't want to be hit. But the hit isn't deadly because Chris is a long way from making his...
This is going to be a hard play for any human. This is not an easy play.
It's a long way for Chris to make his 4-point.
For those of you on the stream, watch the comments. We got Marty Storer making comments after almost every play, and they're very insightful. Marty's a brilliant, I'm proud to say, one of our teachers at the Backgammon Learning Center, but he's making a lot of comments about the plays throughout, and it's very interesting. I almost wish he was sitting here. Somebody taught Marty Storer how to type. Okay, this is a reasonable play. And a dance. Paid off to put him on the bar. Victor needed to come out there, though. This was not great that he stayed back. He has to race when you're... That's his main game plan now.
If he rolls a number without a 6 or a 3 here, he's going to be very unhappy.
Yep.
Like this.
Well, at least...
This particular one's not too bad because he can bring 2 checkers in
Yep.
to work on the deuce and 4 point.
Gives him some flexibility.
Yeah.
Is it...
Most of his non-3s and 6s there were bad.
Is it Roberti that used the term robust game? I think I read it in one of Roberti's books. His game is more robust now. He has more flexibility. The hit is not as big as these. 6-5 would be probably Victor's best roll.
Oh, sure. By a mile.
6-6 is okay. The question is, do you come out?
Well, he's going to... Those 3 are the easy ones.
And he
now the
come
question
out.
is, do you make the deuce the
If
bar?
you don't get hit with a 6, you got the game won.
Nope.
If you don't get hit with a 6 or a 9, and you didn't, I said you had the game won. He's up 50 pips. Can he bring this home? Can he cube?
Well,
Look at this play. Look at this play.
If Chris had rolled something like a 4-1,
Huh?
he could come out and he could probably take the cube then. But this is...
He might still be able to take. The right play is to switch 6-4. Instead of breaking your board and having an ugly board. This would make me want to cube even more. That was not the right idea. You want to keep a good board. 6-4 would still be a pretty good board rather than leaving a blot and it's not even a take now. Hey, I got one right. I said if he didn't hit, it's a pass. Probably was a pass no matter how he played it. No, it wouldn't have been a pass no matter how he played it, or XG would have said -1 on every play. So maybe this play cost him the game. Oh, big pass. Huge error. Even if you get the shot and hit it, you got a lousy board. And you might not get a shot, and you might not hit it. You're probably going to get a shot. But when you hit it, so what? Ooh, there's a 9. Okay. Even if he hits the 2.
The thing is, if Chris Fan's here, he's in some serious gammon danger. Oh, but
he hits it.
It's a both.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. That could very well be a match-winning shot.
Oh, Victor is being highly punished for the right play for the cube. What a swing. Unbelievable. If you're from England, you're happy now. I love the way these guys stick together from England and Germany. They no matter who's playing from Germany, they're all screaming and yelling for each other. Oh, big 3. It's really almost like a team event here. It's nothing like Monte Carlo. It's really exciting. People rooting for their countrymen all the time. And I have to admit, I've done the same thing for... I was rooting for Frigo or Victor.
Bring the 3 up there. There's no reason to leave that checker back exposed to attack. At this point, if Victor fans one more time, or if he doesn't, Chris just needs to dominate the outfield and wait for Victor to come to him.
Right play. Chris took a very bad cube here, and he's in the game. That's backgammon. Cocked.
That's it.
I kind of like the United States dice on checker rules. You don't have to watch this roll over and over again. Why not play the roll? I like it. I was against it at first. All right, that's big. And you do come out.
It's huge.
You do come out.
It's huge to come out because
Huge.
All that's going to happen by playing behind is Chris is going to put more checkers in Victor's outer board and have a larger welcoming committee. Unfriendly welcoming committee when Victor has to come off the anchor next roll.
I'll give you 3-1. Oh, I was about to give you 3-1. He makes the right play. He's gonna
find it. He's gonna find it.
Whew.
He's gonna find it.
4s and 7s.
I mean, he can't benefit from waiting unless he rolls a large double next roll.
Yeah. Got to come out. Why? He's got a big race lead still.
Yeah.
When you're racing, you race.
Well, it's also Chris is just going to flood the checkers with more outfield. Flood the outfield more checkers, rather.
He got an 8.
And here we go. He missed. He missed, and now he has no safe plays.
Well, I guess he's got to leave him a shot.
What's he going to do?
You come out from the 5 and you made the 3 to save.
And now you're duplicating the 6s, so that's probably the best direct shot to leave. But this is a much better situation for Victor.
And it is the right play. If Victor hadn't come out, this roll would be actually a wonderful roll for Chris. And so Victor turned it into a bad roll.
Yeah.
A 6 for Victor would be very, very big here.
Duplicating the 6s.
But he's going to hit if he rolls a 6.
Yes.
He's going to hit. He wants that 6. 17 numbers, except double 2s, 16 numbers.
And he got
there it
the
is. 5-1. What's he looking at?
He's
up in the race. He's thinking about just playing safe? No way.
No.
No way. That's clearly the right play. He'll find it. He's looking at the return shots.
And not just for the wins, the gammons.
Two, 3 does nothing. Splits the midpoint checkers.
And again,
Or comes up.
He's got to come up.
Come up. You're right.
He can't get
You
pointed
can
on
get
back
pounded.
there.
You can get pounded down there. Victor wants
Now-
out and safe.
Yeah. Victor ideally gets 6-5, or rather 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, 5.
No, he
2,
wants
5, 3,
6-6.
4.
Come on, let's be honest.
Well, 6-6
He
is
wants
his best
6-6.
Yeah.
Okay,
His
safety.
one's word is good because now he can't bring the straggler into the
So
outfield.
Victor's back to being a pretty good favorite again.
Yeah.
So terrible things happen to Victor, and he's still a big favorite. That's how bad a take it was.
This is a huge shot for Chris because now he's flooding the outfield.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for Victor to get around.
Yeah.
He's going to need some big doubles or. But again, Chris broke his board, made the ace point, so that even when he gets the shots, it's not that good. This is simple. Chris would like to make a blocking point,
Oh
and
my
he
God,
does.
what a shot.
Oh, wow. Monster
That
shot.
is a super joker.
All of a sudden, he's a favorite.
A top one.
I
super
told you this
joker.
was a take, didn't I? I told you you should take that cube. Who cares what XG says?
I'm pretty confident that number was in the top one.
Wow. Okay, you said the
Wow.
recube take point is 33%.
Well, Victor
Victor's
has
got 32.
2%, and it's a redouble pass.
It's only a best by 1%, and it's a blunder to take. Go figure that, huh?
Well, the redouble's the easy part. Let's see if Victor can find the
But he's got 32%. The take point is 33%, and it's a blunder to take. I don't understand this. It should be a small pass if you're off by 1%. I don't blame him for taking. I know XG says but he's 1% off from the take. Okay, this is the whole match. This is the whole match. How many people would know it's 32%? You might have guessed 34%. I don't blame Victor at all for this, or anybody. And with that take, Victor's still playing at 2.38. Come on. This is not human.
Well, you're bringing both the back checkers out of his board. This is your chance to get both the back checkers out of his board and not worry about Victor entering with a 4-2 or a 4-3.
There's one more reason to take. Who's going to make mistakes here? The XG assumes everybody's going to play perfectly. Victor has a very, very easy position to play. He either comes in and runs or he doesn't. The tough plays are all going to be Chris's from now on.
Yeah.
So based on that alone, I guarantee he had more than 33%. I would bet you money
Yeah.
that the PR differences on who's playing from each side is going to make the difference. Not such a bad take.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm surprised Chris hasn't immediately taken the two checkers out because to me it's pretty clear here that you want to bring both those guys out, and if you could do it at the same time without leaving Victor a 4-2 or 4-3 off the bar, that's ideal. So I would have taken those two out and then looked for my other two. But
And you're right. You do need to get those two out.
and you want to do it at the same time.
Yep.
But so far he's on track to make the right play.
Well, there's no right play that I can see besides taking the two out. Okay.
Well, he just gave 4-4 and 4-6.
Double 4, double 6
Yeah.
are the dream rolls for Victor. He won one match earlier with a double on the last roll.
If he had brought the 4 into the 6 point, he wouldn't have given any immediate jokers.
Yeah, but he'd have less outfield control. It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid of ghosts. 5-3. You do not make the bar point. That's almost impotent here. Lots of people would make that and say, "Oh, the bar point's a wonderful point." Not in this position.
I think I'd play 16-11, 13-10,
Yeah, making the bar point's not on the list.
which is up there, I guess.
Yep.
And now 13-10. This is
Yeah.
what I would do.
Yeah. Now you can't get hit except with double fours.
Only double fours, yeah.
Only double fours. And
You've now got, if Victor comes in with a loose 4,
you're
4-1, 4-2,
yeah.
4-3, you could hit him because the race is still close enough that Victor, or rather Chris can't let Victor move freely.
Yeah, the 10 point was the key point to make. Again, I'm not making the bar point. I see beginners make the bar point all the time in these things. Oh, no. I just got through giving that lecture.
It's only wrong by a little bit.
No, it's, well, 3.8. But you're only stopping 4-3, and those aren't the best places to shoot from. It's the wrong idea.
But the 3 is another number you can use to pick and pass if Victor comes in. 6s and 3s are a very potent combination.
All right, it wasn't a terrible play, but it was wrong. Victor's chances are slipping away. He was so close to being the undefeated champion with Frank. This is very heartbreaking for Victor.
That's a nice play.
Yeah, he's got a lot more builders now.
That makes that redeploys those guys efficiently, and it also puts them where you want them to be for the race. Okay, Chris is still up only 9 pips, so Victor would have some racing equity if he came in. I think he's just going to give him the double 4s.
Clearly right.
Yeah.
Because anything but double 4s, that's a great builder. Double 4s would be the monster roll here. Victor's wondering why he's not getting a 4. 15 rolls make the point.
That's a huge number. It doesn't make the point, but Chris is going to come home. He'll take that off, and he's got a safe structure with eight checkers above the gap.
Yeah.
7 structures.
You don't take the checker off the 6 because you want to get a checker off, and you don't want any rolls that leave shots.
Yeah.
Finally gets the 4. Finally gets the 4 when it's nowhere near as big as it was before.
Yeah.
4-3. He's debating. He's down 36 pips in the race. You don't race.
There's nothing to debate here.
You got to pray for the shot. Do you pick and pass? It's right. It's right to pick and pass. There's no gammons that you care about, but it's still right to pick and pass. This play was not bad, though. It was very close.
I guess Chris was thinking that if he rolls a couple small numbers here, Victor may run out of time before he has to create any blot, leaving numbers on top. Great shot for Chris, take 2 guys off. And now Victor rolls a big number here. Like this, the worst, one of the worst. Now he's got to kill his board before Chris is even vulnerable, leaving a shot.
No, he's decided to race.
And so now he has to go back to racing. But
Racing when you're down 31 pips?
Yeah.
Less 11? Pretty hopeless, but
Yeah.
he thinks it's his best chance, and it was. It was right.
Wouldn't surprise you if the rollout showed that Chris's play was right a few rolls ago, not to hit the checker on the 4 point
Uh-huh.
for this reason.
Well, barring a miracle, we're going to see Chris advance. He's fought very hard in this tournament. He's shown me a lot. All of the Brits have shown me a lot. There's a lot of Brits that are really coming up. It's, we always talked about the Danish and the U.S. and lately the Japanese. The French and the Brits are really showing me a lot here.
Yeah.
And the Germans. Oh, my God. I forgot what a great group they have, too.
Yeah, typically excellent.
And Sweden has shown me, Johan and Thomas Tenlin. There are a lot of countries that are vying for top spots. Then I go to
Of course, Dagfinn from Norway.
Yeah, Dagfinn from Norway. And Norway won the team championship when I was in Trier.
John Roycett's from Norway too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a strong player.
Norway's got a great group. Something about cold weather. I guess you can't go outside, so you may as well play backgammon.
They stay inside, play backgammon.
That's right. Exciting match. Very exciting match. We had 2 4 cubes.
That's going to just about do it.
It's gin.
Not
4 and
quite.
4, not quite.
Boxes and a big double.
Boxes.
That's gin.
That's gin. That's the game. Great match. Thank you, gentlemen. 2.26 PR for Victor. 3.65 for Chris. Stay tuned. We'll have our next stream, I believe, and I'll check with this to be sure, at 10 p.m. Monte Carlo time, will be the round of 4. If there's a match sooner, I'll post it. Great match. Chris, it's always a pleasure working with you. Your insights were terrific. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, and I think we got what we came for. We saw
Yeah.
a very well played, tough competitive
Very well
match.
played.
Victor,
Very well played.
Victor playing at his normal standards, and Chris shaking off a little bit of rust from last night, and
Victor, you
having
played
only
at
a few
2.3.
moments,
Nothing
only a
to be
few
embarrassed
moments, only a few
you can do.
indiscretions. So, great match.
Yep. Victor's one of my real heroes in this game.
And you're on.
I need a partner. Wait a minute. Give me a second. 1 second. Chris, come on over.
So coming up next will be the
Have a seat.
semifinal.
Thank you.
I want to congratulate you on a very well played match.
Cheers, Phil.
You've been
I don't
playing
know
great.
about that.
No, you played very well.
Oh, really?
It was a great tournament the whole time for you. What are your thoughts now?
Yeah, just elated to have made it after yesterday. I think I was 99.3% against Vic at one stage, and I managed to engineer a loss from that. So I'm quite happy to get my revenge. But
So there's no way you're not going to be the world champion now, right?
oh, of course, yeah,
You
it
got
goes
it.
without
It's a
saying.
lock. It's a lock. So
Yeah.
who in Great Britain has helped your game? Who are your mentors and friends that have helped you achieve this success?
To be honest, there's so many that
There's so many.
yeah,
A lot.
It's
Okay.
impossible to list them
Well,
all.
Joe Russell says he takes complete credit for
Oh,
the
yeah,
for
on
the
the
online chouette.
On the American side, Joe Russell's
He's the guy.
He's the main
He's the guy
man.
that helped.
Yeah, yeah,
he's helped
that's
my
for
game
sure.
a lot too.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
good luck going forward. You got more matches coming up soon.
Yeah, I've got one at 5 o'clock, so in just over an hour.
It's 5 o'clock, 1 hour, right?
Yeah.
So why am I still alive if we're not having another hour so I can interview Chris? Okay, there's another match at 5 o'clock, 1 hour from now. Another match, and there'll be another 2 matches at that time in both streams, and then another one later tonight at 10, and then we have the finals tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Chris, good luck.
Cheers, Phil.
Look forward
Thanks,
to
mate. Take care.
You're a gentleman over the board and away from the board. Love to see you winning.
Cheers, mate. Take it easy.
Bye-bye, everybody. We'll be back in 1 hour.
Okay. What's up, guys? Me and Tara just figured we might as well kill some time here by showing a cool position that I saw yesterday. This was from Michi's match. There was Michi who showed me this position. I had told Michi that I'd been working on a book called the Golden Point Dilemma, which is basically 150 positions where you have the dilemma between making the 20 point or the 5 point. And then you got this position here, where it's not just a dilemma, it's more like a trilemma or even a quadruple lemma or whatever it's called. You have a 5-3 from the bar. It's early in the game, and you've got basically 4 different options here. Notice the score. We are trailing 7 away, 2 away. And I think that's one of the key factors here, because first when I just looked at the board, I didn't notice the score. I was very tempted by making this play. Because there are several, in this dilemma, 20 point or 20 point or 5 point, one of the most important things when you make an anchor is if you can freeze up a lot of your enemy's checkers, that's typically a very good thing to do. So I spotted that immediately, and I was attracted to this move because you freeze up all of the utility of all of these checkers over here. They can't really do much now. So that's obviously a good thing. Then I noticed the score, and I'm like, you know what? We don't need to make such a defensive play when we're down 7 away, 2 away. We need to make something offensive. So let's go back here. So what else do we have? Okay, we have coming in here and making the 5 point. That's more offensive. It looks a little bit risky, you know. He has his checkers in place for a blitz attack here. But at least you get to make the 5 point. That's pretty solid. You know, it's going to help us in many rolls to come. Another thing that I know now from studying all those positions for my upcoming book is that distribution in your front position really matters. And this distribution that I have here without a stack on the 6 point, and I have the 5 point made, this is a quite nice distribution over here. There's nothing awkward about it. It's like if I had, let's say something like this, this would not be as good because now I have a stack to deal with. So when you can make beautiful distributions like this, that's typically pretty important. Another important variable here is the pip count. We're down 25 pips in the race. That's a lot. And here we have 2 conflicting ideas, because you have the idea of, well, when you have 3 men back, you need to make an advanced anchor as fast as possible. Right? That's a very important idea when you have 3 men back. But at the same time, when you're down 25 pips or what is it, 17 pips after the move, it's also very important to build a prime. Play pure and build a prime. So that's kind of like points towards this play. So it's not really clear here strategically either way. Both moves make sense. I mean, what doesn't make sense is to go for a blitz attack and play impure, because we're down in the race, we've got too many men back, we have too little ammunition for that kind of thing. And then of course you have the hitting plays. You can either hit out here, come in with a 3 and hit here, or you can come in with a 5 and hit here. And of those two, I think it's not that difficult to see that hitting on the 18 point clearly dominates, because you take one of his front checkers and send it all the way back. You know, that's a builder right there, you know, so let's get rid of that one. So that's the best hitting play. And this play also made a lot of sense to me. I wasn't sure at all here. So I think now we've kind of narrowed down the field. I think we like the offensive plays more than the defensive play. Here's the defensive play. At the score, not so important. So I think I've narrowed it down at this point to either making the 5 point like this, or to hit like this. And I really couldn't figure out which play was better. It was quite difficult for me. Michi couldn't really figure it out either. But we were standing there over the board, like looking at it, throwing out some ideas. Why was the best move the way it was? Because we knew the result at this point. I'm gonna wait to give you the result, because Michi, he then gave a very good argument. He came up with a very good idea here that it's been a while since I've seen this idea. That's why I wanted to show this position. If you make the 5 point here, so this one, if you come in with a 5 and you make the 5 point, now it's your opponent's turn. He's in a pretty good position to do something here. But the roll after that, you will also be in a good position here with black to do something. Let's say, for instance, he rolled a great roll like a 3-1. That's kind of like what we were scared of, right? So he rolls 3-1, and he makes the 5-point. Look how many return shots we've got from the bar here. We just need to come in, then a 5 and a 6 hits on the bar here, and a 3 hits here. So it's almost like a triple shot. Not quite, because we have to get in. You know, we can't move a 5 or 6 coming in here, but it's like a bunch of return shots. We kind of got the first step in the development. So now it's our turn, and we can then hit him and kind of like regain the advantage here. I think that's a very powerful argument. Let's see if we hit how the same thing is going to play out. Now we hit. Oh, oops, we don't have the 5-point. Okay, we hit. Obviously, that's a good thing. We gain like, what is it, 23 pips in the race from the hit, because we're hitting from the 23 point. That's a little hack, you know. You hit from the 23 point, you gain 23 pips, because you move 5 and he loses 18. That's obviously great. He loses a front checker from 9 in the zone to 8 in the zone. The race is now very close, but he's got a bunch of return shots here. So he's probably going to hit this guy, or he's going to hit over there. It's still an open battle, but we had a small disadvantage here if he hits us, because then we will have more men back. We'll be back in the behind in the race. So most of the sequences here, we're going to end up being behind a little bit. Yes, we could get lucky, and he rolls like a, I don't know. I mean, even a 2-1 or 1-6 or something, it still hits here, right? So we might get hit. He rolls a 2-1, he hits us here. We're a little bit behind after this move. Of course, it's good to hit and send him back, but let's go back and look at the other play again. If we make this play, here it actually seems like we're gonna get the upper hand. He's on roll, and this is the idea actually. By this, this is why this is the best play. The secret is to not look 1 step ahead; it's to look 2 steps ahead, and that's, I think, what's cool about this position. I don't remember when I did this the last time. Most of the time we hit 1 step ahead. We think 1 step ahead, but here we have to think 2 steps ahead. We have to think 2 steps ahead. Then the move is maybe not that difficult to find, you know. Just visualize how white will play his rolls, and then see how well black is positioned here to play his rolls. Right? So, pretty cool position. For money, I don't know the result for money. I think this is still the best move, probably. But maybe making the 20 point is also quite good for money. So yeah, so let me know in the chat section what you think. I'm gonna take out my phone here, and I'll see if I can see some of your chat messages. Let me just see here. Live. Okay, I'm on the phone. Oh, it doesn't have much of a delay. Let's see, anybody, let's see what you guys think. Okay, we got some questions as well. Who's gonna play at 5? Do we know that, Tara? Who plays at 5?
On screen 1, they actually are showing it on the screen. Chris Rogers versus Kendo Nakasuka.
Okay.
With commentary featuring Mochi
Oh, cool.
and Phil Silborg.
Wow,
And-
Mochi is doing commentary.
Right, so this is the second chance semifinals.
Second chance semifinals, yeah.
And on stream 2, we will have Mario Pool from Germany playing the lovely Martha. I'm sure I can pronounce her name, from Norway.
Cool.
Martha Joseph.
Okay. Cool. So those matches will be up at 5. We've got Hussein Pagnahat in the chat. It's too complicated to argue that play. Yeah, it is a little bit complicated. Like, how often is it that you have to look 2 moves ahead to find the best play? But I think Michi nailed it here. You know, that's the idea. You gotta look 2 moves ahead, and then you realize that this is a strong position for black. So I think I'm gonna include this position in my book. Maybe put it as position number 150. I think it was pretty good. I hope you liked it, guys. Killing time a little bit here. We've got 26 minutes to go for the next round, so I will leave you to it. Take care. Thanks, Sarah.
guy in the yellow shirt, his tournament director.
I don't know. So he has a yellow shirt.
Yeah, that guy.
Anyway, at some point, say you don't have to say it was right. Just say you thought it was very reasonable. That's the word I would use. That way, you're not admitting they're right or wrong.
They could have voted against.
They could have easily given him the match. You're playing responsible moves. You notice it, you let it go. So they could have easily ruled against him. Well, you made a mistake, and thank God it didn't kill you.
Honestly, I think they cheated. I don't. Just
Yeah.
I've
I've been a tournament director. You can't accuse people of cheating. Yes. We're ready? Okay. I'm live in Monte Carlo. I'm all excited. We're having a ball here in Monte Carlo, and we're down to the final four of the second chance, and we've got two great matches going. On stream 2, Mario Kuhl from Germany, who's been playing unbelievable, who won not the Super Jackpot, what's it called? The High Roller event. And he's playing Martha, and I'm not about to say Gjelsteth, a very fine female player from Norway. And she's gotten farther in this tournament than any lady since Akiko. Akiko's about the only one in recent years that has ever gone this far. By the way, the people who have reached this level have already made $8,000, 8,000 euros, and they'll make $15,000 just win this match. And then, of course, there's a lot more if you get to the finals. So at 2200 Monte Carlo time, we will have the final two in the undefeated who will try to beat Frank Frigo in a single match in the finals tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So what we have here is an incredible story. We have a young man from Japanese Kengo, and he's playing Chris Rogers, who you've seen a bunch. You've seen him a bunch because he keeps winning. He beat Victor Ashkenazi in a very, very tough, close match in the last match. And the double match point, it was three away with it was very, very exciting. Very, very well played by both. Victor did outplay him, but that's to be expected. Victor outplays almost everybody. In this match, we have a great story to tell about the young man from Japan, and I'm going to wait until my co-commentator shows up to tell the story because he can tell it better than I can because he was there. Mochi is going to join me in the commentary. So I've got Mochi and XG. How much do you think I'm going to talk? Very little. I'll tell you what, I might fill in the blank a little bit, but I'm going to leave it to two of the... I'm not sure which one's better, Mochi or XG. There is a little debate by a lot of people. In fact, if it's really close, I would bet on Mochi over XG in most cases. I've seen many times where we put it in plus, Mochi says roll it out, and he's right. Okay, getting very, very exciting. We're getting down to the short strokes here. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of prestige. This is the World Championships. Very, very exciting. We'll have a nice long dinner break after this. I'll probably take a nap at the pool. Okay, I'm being joined by my good buddy and mentor and #1 player in the world, Mochi.
Hi, everyone.
Tell me how this young man from Japan got here.
Kengo Nakasuka-san. So we had a tournament called Monaco Challenge Tournament, sponsored by Kenji Shimodaira and Hiroshi Tanaka. So they basically donated like 5,000 euros to the tournament. So all the players pay like very small entry fee, something like 7 euros to enter. And you basically need to win like 256 players field, and he won it.
Wow.
So he got like everything paid, the entry fee is free, airfare is free, hotel is free.
And he has a chance to win the championship.
Of course.
That would be one of the greatest stories of Monte Carlo ever. Paid
Right.
7 euros to get here. Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me about his game.
He is a grandmaster, so obviously he's a very decent player. I think he's like a GM3. He plays like 3.8 or something. You can check on BMAB list. And I and him in the same club, so I meet him like twice a month or so. Very nice guy.
How old is he?
He's 32 years old.
33?
32.
32. But this is his first major international tournament ever, isn't it?
No, he's
No.
first international tournament.
First international tournament.
Including major, minor, doesn't matter. It's just first tournament for him. I mean, he plays many tournaments in Japan, but internationally it's the first time, and he hasn't won any Japanese title yet. So wouldn't it be nice to win the world championship as a first title?
That would be nice. That would be nice. It'd be a great story. Okay. I'm going to leave XG and Mochi to do most of the analysis here. I'm just going to chime in if I see something interesting or have a question. And we do have the chat here that we'll watch.
Oh, that's great.
James Painter, glad Phil is back. Thank you, James. I was sick. I had food poisoning. Don't eat steak tartare unless you're sure where you're getting it. I was out for almost 2 days back and forth, but I'm great now and appreciate your comments. Okay, now we have ended any confusion in the streaming matches. We do play legal moves, and the transcriber will stop them and point out if they made an illegal move if the players don't catch it. There was a little confusion about that earlier.